Today's video is brought to you by Vlasic Pickles.
People are talking about the great taste of pickles like never before.
Here, my dear, try a Vlasic pickle.
Why, thank you, dear. Now that's the best tasting pickle I ever heard.
What the fuck? That was the creepiest old lady. I'm pretty sure I cursed all of us with that video, by the way. Anyways, let's get right to it. So, some of you guys might be thinking, man, sometimes Deviljho hunts can just take a while. And why might that be? Could it be because, he just has a lot of health? Yeah? Let's ask our friends over at Vlasic and see what they think.
Okay. Now that's the best tasting pickle I ever heard.
Okay, that didn't help. What was that?
Now that's the best.
They're half right. Okay, so we're half right. So it's true that Deviljhos tend to have high base health, but another main reason that their hunts can take a while is because their elusive weak spots and their general high defensiveness.
My armor is tickled.
So let's take a look at his stats and you'll see what I mean. Look at these green bastards. As you can see here, Deviljhos in general are pretty tanky dudes. They don't really take a lot of physical damage. And I'll talk about the elemental in a bit, but I want to go over the elusive weak spots I mentioned before, as I feel that this is where hunters struggle. Generally speaking, when you're hunting a monster, you got that one body part you want to be aiming at, and you can focus on this spot for the whole hunt and you should be okay. However, Deviljho is one of the few monsters that changes this tradition because they have shifting weak spots. Take regular Deviljho first. When he's not enraged, his head is the main weak spot, but when he becomes enraged, the weak spot will be the breast. You guys probably thought I was going to show some boobs here or something. Come on, what kind of YouTuber do you think I am? Savage is similar fundamentally, but vice versa. When he's not enraged, the main weak spot will be the chest, but when he becomes enraged, while you can still hit the chest, the main weak spot will be the head. Deviljhos are also pretty susceptible to elemental damage, which is nice. For regular, you can go with Thunder or Dragon, and Savage gets worked by all elemental damage in general, but you'll find the most success with Thunder for him too, since that's what hurts him the most. There's a couple more nuanced things to him, but I'll cover them throughout the video as we go over the technical aspects of his hunt. So let's go ahead and move on to...
Whoa, hold on there. What if I can't consistently hit his weak spots?
Okay, well...
Yeah, what if my weapon can't even reach the weak spot?
Alright, that's a good question.
What if I can't find my weapon?
Wait, what? Hey, you're that guy from before.
No, I'm not. What if Monster Hunter Double Cross never comes to the west? What if my life is cheating?
Guys. Do I need to get that old Vlasic lady?
Now that's the best tasting pickle I ever heard. Now that's the best tasting pickle I ever heard.
That's what I thought. So, if you're thinking, what if you can't consistently hit the weak spots? Well, then get good. Nah, I'm just kidding. There's gonna be times where you or your weapon can't really comfortably hit his face, or even his belly. So what are you supposed to do? Just sit around and wait? Wrong. A wise man once said, there's more than one way to fry a pickle. The best way to be proactive in Joe hunt if you can't hit his weak spots is to focus the legs. Now I'm not saying he's as easy to trip as Gormagalo, but if you keep up the pressure, you can definitely get a good amount of trips in, and depending on what weapon you're using, the legs can be your key to success. I'll segue now into the skills because depending on how you're approaching the hunt or what weapon you're using, the skills can vary. So let's say you're hunting Savage Deviljho and you're running an elemental crit set, or you're hunting regular Deviljho and you're running the standard crit boost set, and odds are you have weakness exploit on either of these sets, which is perfect because it's one of the best ways to get a high amount of crit for a low cost. But keep in mind, if you're set on attacking the legs, weakness exploit is relative crit. So yes, it's 50%, but only if you're hitting weak spots. And the legs are not a weak spot, so you will not be proccing the skill if you're focusing the legs. So if you're running one of these sets, you're only getting the actual 20% active crit and you won't be getting weakness exploit. At least not until you trip him, where you can make full use of the skill. However, this is where playstyle and weapon choice comes into play. If you feel that you can regularly hit the weak spots with your weapon, then by all means run weakness exploit and you're good to go. But if you feel that you can't read his head or his belly, or you know you're going to be focusing the legs for trips, then you're going to need to acquire actual crit via other means, whether it's going for critical eye +3, repeat offender, challenger +2, or just simply using a higher affinity weapon. Weapons that have their own means of gaining additional crit, such as switch axe, sword and shield, and insect glaive, definitely have some more freedom with their sets when approaching a Deviljho hunt. Another alternative is going for means of increasing your damage in a way that's not entirely dependent on crit. For example, instead of elemental crit, you could run elemental attack up, which stacks with individual elemental skills. You could go for just regular attack up skills, Polar Hunter or Tropic Hunter in their respective locations, etc. Defensive skills. Earplugs, and nah, you don't need them. So, Deviljho's roar used to give me some trouble, but I have a little tactic. I look at his right foot. Check this out. Step, dodge. Step, dodge. You'll kind of have to get a feel for it for yourself, but hey, it's definitely been helping me dodge more consistently than I used to, so hopefully that can help you. And in worst case scenario, he doesn't even roar that much. He only roars when he enrages, and there's so much time in between the roars, I really don't think it's worth investing points into. What you could and should invest in is tremor resistance. That skill is hella nice against Deviljho. You could use the full Silver Wind or a mix of it because with evasion +2, you can easily dodge the roar and the tremor. Whew. Okay, we just went over a lot of shit, I know. But I really think that the stats and the analytical part are really what make or break a Deviljho hunt. You know, between the large health pool, the tankiness, the shifting weak spots, if you go in uninformed and ill-equipped, it's just going to be a bad time. And hell, even if you're not going for speed, you know how it is with notoriously aggressive monsters. The longer the hunt lasts, the more chances there are for mistakes. Not like this. Alright, I think it's time to move on. Hey Vlasic kid, you think they're ready? The heck is this guy? Alright, so let's break down these moves. We got biting with minimal effort, biting with medium effort, biting with maximum effort. We got throwing shit, tackle breath. I can spin 2 Glavinus, you're not that cool. Stomp the Yard. Generic ass annoying tailspin. The
Vlasic
tackle. Give me that booty. And one of his most dangerous weapons when he's tired. I'll get some more on that later. Let's begin with minimal effort bite. This is a simple biting attack which moves in a scooping kind of motion. It doesn't do too much damage, it won't send you flying, and as long as you're in an animation that gives you super armor, it won't even knock you over. If you're healthy enough, you can simply just power through this move and trade damage with him. Otherwise, you can simply dodge it or block it, as it's pretty easy to see coming. He also commonly uses his bite to turn around. Now, any weapon can use this knowledge, but you can especially take advantage of this with a head sniping weapon. All you want to do is position about a weapon's length away from him and simply aim your attack at the lowest point of his bite. Next is medium effort bite. Deviljho will try just a little bit harder and do a lunging bite attack towards you. He'll usually use this as a form of gap closer, or he'll follow up with this after he's closed some distance to you. There isn't too much you can do to take advantage of this move, since after you dodge it, he'll usually end up behind you. I don't know what else to say about this move, so just keep hitting his legs or some shit. Next up is maximum effort biting, where Deviljho's thought process is, if biting didn't work, how about biting? So he's going to be doing a flurry of sweeping bite attacks, similar to the scooping motion of minimal effort bite, but he's going to be moving forward. so he tends to use this as another form of gap closer. If you do find yourself in front of him, you're probably only going to need to dodge the would-be bite that would hit you, because once you do, he's just going to pass over you. The funny thing about this move is that if he starts it while you're right under him, you literally don't have to do anything. In fact, you have to go catch up to him. Otherwise, you can just use an item or heal, because he's just going to be off fighting the conches. Side note for medium and maximum biting, and really any move that causes Deviljho to move around, Deviljho tends to do a lot of cheap damage simply by walking past you or touching you. You may be losing a lot of health and you don't even know it because it's not coming from major attacks. So when he moves around, just be aware of any health you may be losing. Deviljho's rock throw may seem deceptively simple, but guess again. It actually is. As simple as it looks. While it's a decent chance to get some damage on his legs, he'll only use it when you're far away from him, so you'll barely see it in solo play. But hey, at least he won't run off somewhere to pick up the rock, like MHGen does.
What the fuck is that, Kyle? No, what did you say? What the fuck, dude?
Stanky Breath is one of my favorite moves. He might as well be spitting the words free damage, because that's what this move is. You can block this move with little consequence, and if you need to dodge it, don't dodge too early. It's not the dragony effect that's going to hurt you. Imagine there's like a rope-like hitbox inside the breath, and that's what you dodge. But none of that matters because you're rarely going to be in the way of this attack. This move is so telegraphed with this big wind-up he does, you'll have plenty of time to reposition, and then just go ham on his legs or chest. Ham. Ham? Is that a thing? Ham? The only thing to remember is that sometimes you'll either back up before the breath, or step forward with the breath, so make sure you react accordingly. But the opening is still the same for either one. Deviljho's spinny move. For this move he does, you guessed it, another bite. But this time he gets a little fancy for us, and does a spin where he swings his tail on the attack too, showing Glavinus how it's really done. I can picture them fighting. Oh, I know you ain't talking shit behind my back, you pickle-looking ass mother suck. My. So, if you're out of range of the bite, then you only gotta worry about dodging the tail, since it swings a bit further. But if you're close enough where you need to dodge the bite, then that's all you need to worry about, since this move pushes Deviljho forward. He'll be too past you for the tail part to hit you. Next is Stomp the Yard. So I'm sure most of you have gotten pretty adept at dodging Tremor. If not, I got a video on that. Especially when the move causing it is so easy to see coming. But even though it's easy to dodge Tremor, it can be pretty disruptive if you have to constantly do it. Some weapons can dodge and jump right back into their combo, but some weapons have animations that they really don't want to get interrupted. This is where Tremor resistance comes in. If you bring Tremor res on this hunt, every time he stomps, your hunt time is going to go down 20 seconds. And as long as you're playing to his left leg, this move is never going to hit you. And trust me, this guy just loves spamming this move. So depending on what weapon you're using, Tremor can be a massive increase in damage throughout the whole hunt. The generic annoying tailspin. It's so generic, I'm not even going to talk about it. I don't even know why I put it on my list really, it's just the standard tailspin that most wyverns do. And you can punish it the same way. Just be aware of where you're standing while attacking Deviljho because of his huge ass tail. A good amount of players consider Deviljho's tackle to be one of his most dangerous moves. I feel like the animators did a really good job with this attack in showing how much power and weight he's putting into it. And I guess it really is dangerous because it covers quite a big range. Literally every part of his hitbox is dangerous during this attack. However, dodging this move is easier than it looks. One of the best ways to avoid this move is to just simply walk around it. Yeah, it has a big ass hitbox, but depending on where the two of you are, you can have plenty of time to just get out of the way. But what do you do if you don't have enough time? you just want to go through his legs. Essentially, our evasion frames are not long enough to get us through all of Deviljho's big body, so we want to pick the spot that we can pass through the quickest before our frames are up. You can also get by dodging through his head, and even his tail, specifically the thinner part, but if you're already at his sides, then you might just be able to walk around it. However, if you're stuck in front of him, then you're going to want to slide into Deviljho's DMs and go right in between his legs. His pin's actually not that bad, at least until G-Rank Savage Joe, but at least for now it's not too big of an issue. Really the only thing is that his pin does cause tremor, so if you try to delay your dodge to not get stunned, then you may get pinned, and if you dodge the pin, then you may get stunned. So you just want to make sure you distance yourself when he's doing it. If you have tremor resistance, then this move basically becomes Joe repositioning himself behind you, and you can just turn around and just keep DPSing his legs. But other than that, not that bad. Just in case, it doesn't hurt to bring dung bombs, because if you do get pinned, his bites do hurt. The last thing I'm going to cover in this section is not necessarily a move, but it's something that affects other moves. And personally, I think it's one of the most dangerous things about a Deviljho hunt, and that's when he's exhausted. Now you might be thinking, what? He's tired, man. What are you talking about? And yes, there's obviously some pros to this. For one, he's exhausted, so he's going to be more susceptible to certain things. There are some item benefits, although I want to cover that in more detail in a bit when I go over the items. There's also the rewarding factor that his exhaustion is usually coupled with his reverting to unenraged form. On Savage, that's free damage to the chest, but for regular, the tired animation pairs very nicely with a weak head spot. However, the fun ends there. Don't forget, he's not just tired, he's hungry, and as soon as this fucker comes to his senses, it's almost a different fight completely. Fueled by a desperate, ravenous hunger, he will not stop biting. He won't stop biting. What was once a decent moveset with solid windows for punishing, gone. It's gonna be bite after bite, bite after bite. Oh, and did I mention his corrosive saliva? The constant biting combined with the armor reduction is a bad combo. And you're lucky if he peppers any other moves in there, because he's not gonna stop biting until he eats something, including you. Once he's in this phase, you definitely want to avoid trading hits with him if you can. Since it doesn't knock you over, it could seem like you're fine, while really your health is whittling away. Don't be like me and tunnel vision, and then only notice your health when it's too late. Luckily, this usually doesn't last too long, else he'll probably re-enrage soon. Go eat something after he realizes he can get you, or if you've been keeping up the pressure, he just might be near dead. And this will bring us to the last thing we need to cover, which is item usage. Everything is pretty much straightforward with him. Flash bombs are generally a bad idea. Both traps will work as usual. And of course, there's the meats. You can take advantage of Joe's constant hunger to use the afflicted meats more often than usual. Tinged meat will net you a paralysis. Drugged meat will put him to sleep, so maybe you can do some sleep bombing. And poisoned meat will obviously poison him. Each of the meat will do 200 of their respective status effect to Joe. He also takes triple of the average blast damage taken by monsters. So that's not just barrel bombs, but blast weapons too. So go have a blast. Alright guys, that's everything I've got. If there's something I didn't mention, I probably thought it wasn't too important, or shit, I just forgot. Anyways, sorry for the delay. I was quite literally dying, but I'm back. See you guys in the next video. Peace! 支えてくれる人たちに日頃の思いを込めたラプソディアプリシエーションな気持ちを堂々けいつもありがとう本当はありがとうたとえどこに立って君の存在に感謝してるよ黄昏の街が赤く染まる頃何気なく道を歩いていた行き交う人の